I know Emerald has seen this, and I'm saying hopefully everybody else who has Netflix get a chance to see Who We Are, the Chronicles. What is it? Your thing is covering it.
Oh.
Who We Are, a Chronicle of Racism in America. Jeffrey Robinson is a civil rights lawyer, and he's hosting this documentary. Very good documentary, you guys. And I suggest everyone who get a chance to look at it. It's Netflix, but I don't know if Netflix, you got to pay. I've been pulling out different information that he has shared in this documentary, and I've just been sharing it with you guys to talk about it and just kind of enlighten us. Some stuff we already know, and then some stuff, information we've gotten more details, and we're like, ooh, I didn't know that. One of the things he talked about was that when Nixon was in office, 1968, regarding the number of prisoners, because you think back in when Bill Clinton signed that crime bill in 1994, thought he was doing us a favor. And he said, when I signed this crime bill, we together are taking a big step toward bringing the laws of our land back into line with the values of our people.
They said Bill Clinton, that was the worst thing that happened to black people.
And
that crime bill.
The guy
wasn't that the Strike Act? 3 strikes or something?
The guy said it was speaking the truth because the values that America has expressed up to that point and what the law did, they were the values of mass incarceration and white supremacy. So that what he did not do well. But one of the comments that John Eckerman, with Nixon being in office, he said, we knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war on black or the war or black. But by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
This guy said this recently?
He said this during Nixon's reign in 1968.
That's ridiculous.
So it brings out a lot. Let me see what this one says. To some Americans, lives matter. One thing he did mention, because he had a mixed audience. Right, he had black and white in the audience looking. He talked about a little bit about white privilege. And he says a lot of times people get mad of white privilege. And he said, think about it in a different way. Okay. He said, white privilege does not mean you haven't worked hard or that you haven't overcame obstacles. Right. He said it doesn't take from your accomplishments at all.
But they think it do, some white people.
It states that this playing field is not equal.
But they think it means I didn't work hard or I didn't do, it's not, they looking at it wrong. They don't look at it the same way.
White privilege.
Yeah, you know who summed it up the best? Eminem.
What'd he say?
Because when Eminem went through all those problems and he had to go to court.
Yeah.
He said, I can put on a suit and I can show up in court and I look like just the white guy down the street.
With a nice little suit on.
Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
Right. He said, but if whoever, 50 Cent or whoever, put on a suit or whatever, he's still a black guy. So he can't transform into anything other than who he is.
Thank you.
So if you got some people who don't like him because of his race, there's nothing he can do about it.
Nothing he can do.
And so that's what I'm saying. And just like men have privilege. See, they don't like to look at it as white privilege. So some people rather use it as another example. Men. A man used to, back in the day, and they probably still do in some places, if he walk into a company and apply for a job, and a woman walks in, it could be a white woman, walks into a company, the first thing that the person used to think of in HR is, he's a man, he has a family to feed.
Oh, okay.
He has kids, he has a wife, he needs this job more than she does. Okay. She could just look pretty and marry somebody and then she'll be okay. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean that guy's a buckethead or a nut job who he could have worked hard and got his degree in like I really do deserve this job. Mm-hmm. But the person that's interviewing him may think that he should be more privileged because he's a man. Okay. So that's what it means. It doesn't mean
male versus female.
It doesn't mean that you accept I'm going to accept this privilege. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that. It just means that there is some things that some people, beauty has a privilege. Mm-hmm. We talked about me telling those girls to get out there.
Yeah, we knew they looked good.
Pretty has a privilege. Yeah. If you waiting in line to get in the club and you ain't beautiful, you're going to be waiting a long time.
You'll have more favor.
Whereas a pretty person or man or woman, they'll walk right into the line they'll pull them out. You come here. Mm-hmm. You come here.
Extra gifts.
So that's all that
extra
is.
Fries at McDonald's because you're cute.
That's all.
But yeah, he was just saying it means that you walk through the world differently than the black and brown people in this country.
A woman who is good looking will never know what it's like not to be. She won't know. Just like some of y'all, if you've never been fat, you'll never know what it's like to be fat.
Right.
You'll never know. You'll never know what it's like to get on the bus and say, I'm not going to be able to fit on this seat.
On the plane.
That doesn't even.
On the amusement park.
It's not even in your mindset to think like that, right?
Right.
Can I fit through this door?
Right.
If I sit on this chair, will it hold me?
Will it break? Yeah.
Y'all don't even. That's not even in y'all mind.
Right. If you're not a thick person or heavy person or a fluffy person or whatever you want to say, fat person.
So the same thing.
But yeah, he did kind of talk a little bit about that as well. So I just wanted to pull out a few points with who we are, but it's a really good documentary.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So make sure y'all watch it. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
All right. I thought that you didn't see